Now, Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are starting the revision of the topic temperature. Temperature is also a descriptive topic. That's why I divided this topic into two parts. So today we discuss some of the main concepts related to this chapter, temperature. The very first topic or the very first thing which you need to understand is the difference between temperature and heat. So beta, temperature and heat both are different in their meanings. First, we consider temperature. So beta, temperature is about degree of hotness or coldness of a body. Temperature is a measurement of how hot or cold a body is. Temperature tells you the degree, the extent of coldness and hotness. If you want to know how hot the body is, then the measurement which you have done, or in return you are getting a value which represents the temperature of that body. So temperature is the degree of hotness and coldness of a body, and temperature tells you how hot or cold a body is. But on the other hand, if we talk about heat, so beta, heat is a form of energy, or in other words, heat is a thermal energy, and heat is a transit form of energy because we are not capable of holding or containing a heat. Heat always travel from hotter region to a colder region. Hotter region to a colder region is the direction of traveling of heat. So beta, temperature and heat both are different in their meanings. Now the other thing is that temperature depends on the speed, while the heat depends upon the mass and speed. The SI unit for temperature is Kelvin, and the SI unit for heat is joules. So beta, heat is the amount of energy which is traveling, which is heat is a transit amount of energy, and heat is always travel from hotter region to colder region. But when we talk about temperature, so temperature is the measurement of degree of hotness or coldness of a body, or temperature tells us about how hot or cold a body is. So heat always transferred from higher temperature region to a lower temperature region, because hotter region is a higher temperature region and colder region is a lower temperature region. If you want to understand a concept of heat, then we will consider an example of a hot cup of tea. If you place a hot cup of tea in a room, then after some time, even you cover the top of the cup with a lid, then after some time the cup becomes cold. The hot cup becomes cold. Why? Because when you place a hot cup of tea, the hot cup of tea is a hotter region and the surrounding is a colder region. And we know that heat is a form of energy which is always travel from hotter region to colder region. That's why the traveling of heat takes place from hotter region, which is a hot cup of tea, to the colder region which is surrounding. So that's why after certain time a hot cup of tea becomes cold. So temperature is measured quantitatively. It means when you are measuring a temperature, then in return you will get a value or a magnitude which shows the temperature, because temperature is a scalar quantity. Temperature is not a vector quantity. Temperature is a scalar quantity, and we can represent the temperature by using magnitude only. So that's why we can say that temperature is measured quantitatively by constructing a thermometer. The instrument which we use to measure temperature is known as thermometer, and the temperature, and in thermometer we just making a use of physical property of matter, and the physical property of the matter which we are considering changes continuously or linearly with the temperature change. And the properties of a matter which changing continuously or linearly with the change in temperature is known as thermometric property. So beta, when we are supposed to measure the temperature, then the instrument which we use to measure temperature is thermometer, and in thermometer we just consider the physical property of the matter, and the physical property is continuously or linearly changing with the change in temperature. So those physical quantities which are continuously and linearly changes with change in temperature are called thermometric properties. So beta, the main difference between heat and temperature is that heat is the measurement of degree of hotness or coldness of a body, while heat is the form of energy that travel from hotter region to colder region. While when we talk about temperature, so temperature is the measurement of degree of hotness and coldness of a body. And remember this thing, that the instrument which we use to measure heat is called pyrometer, and the instrument which we use to measure temperature is called thermometer. And in thermometer we make use of physical properties, those physical properties which are changing continuously or linearly with change in temperature. So beta, the SI unit for temperature is Kelvin, and the SI unit for heat energy is joules. Thermometer. So you all know that the measurement of temperature takes place accurately by the help of the thermometer. So in thermometer, we just use a thermometric substance. So the main question is that what is a thermometric substance? So beta, remember this thing that thermometric substance can be a solid, liquid, or gas. But when we talk about thermometric substance, then we consider some property, some physical property of that thermometric substance. And those we always consider that physical property of the thermometric substance which continuously or linearly changes or vary with change in temperature. So beta, the physical property which we consider from thermometric substance, those physical properties always changes linearly or continuously with change in temperature, and those physical properties are called thermometric properties. So beta, thermometric substance can be a solid, liquid, or gas. And when we are talking about thermometric substance, we always consider some physical properties of the thermometric substance or some thermometric properties of the thermometric substance. So beta, on the screen there are some thermometric properties showing. The first thermometric property is volume of a fixed mass of a liquid, and the thermometer which is using this property, this physical property or this thermometric property, are called mercury in glass thermometer and alcohol in glass thermometer. The second thermometric property is electrical resistance of a piece of metal. So beta, the thermometer which uses this thermometric property is known as resistance thermometer. The third thermometric property is voltage or EMF. EMF stands for electromotive force. We will discuss about EMF in the later chapters. So better that the thermometer which uses this physical property, which is voltage or EMF, is known as thermocouple thermometer. The last thermometric property is pressure of a fixed mass of gas at constant volume. And the thermometer which make use of this physical property is known as constant volume gas thermometer. So beta, in CAI physics curriculum, there are 4 thermometric properties which are showing on the screen. So remember this point that a good thermometric property should vary continuously and linearly with the change in temperature. And a good thermometric property of a matter should vary uniquely over the range of temperature to be measured. It means you are not considering the physical property which is just changing at a fixed temperature. You need to consider that physical property which changes continuously over a ranges of temperature. And the variation of the thermometric property should be measurable. So these are the 3 properties of a good thermometer. These are the 3 features or characteristics of a good thermometric property. So remember this that so remember the point that a good thermometric property always changes continuously or linearly with change in temperature. Now we discuss features of a good thermometer. So beta, there are 5 features of a good thermometer. A good thermometer uses an scale which is easy to read. Second, a good thermometer is always safe to use, because in thermometer we are using a mercury, and the mercury is a poisonous substance and also a hazardous substance to our environment. That's why when you are using a thermometer, remember that the thermometer is safe to use. Third feature is that a thermometer is used to measure temperature change, and a thermometer must be responsive to the temperature change. The fourth property is that the thermometer is sensitive when you are measuring small temperature changes. Your thermometer is not capable of measuring only a large temperature changes. Remember this thing that the thermometer should be a sensitive. A good thermometer is always sensitive, and a good thermometer also use or give change in physical property to a small temperature change. That's why we are calling that a good thermometer should be always sensitive. The last property or the last feature is that a good thermometer is able to measure a wide range of temperature. A thermometer is not supposed to measure a fixed temperature. A good thermometer is always supposed to measure a wide ranges of temperature. Now the next topic is calibration and construction of a thermometer. Beta, students, the construction or calibration of a thermometer consists on 3 steps. So a thermometer is usually used with a temperature scale. because without a temperature scale, a thermometer is useless. So in the thermometer, a temperature scale is very important. So when you are defining a temperature scale, then you need to perform, or you need to follow 3 steps. The first step is choose a thermometric substance with a suitable thermometric property. Beta, the first step is very important. In the first step, you always suppose to select or to choose a thermometric substance. And when you are choosing a thermometric substance which is suitable for your temperature or thermometer, then you always need to consider a suitable thermometric property related to the thermometric substance. Then after choosing a good thermometric substance on the basis of thermometric properties, the second step is that you need to find out 2 fixed points. And after finding out the fixed points, you need to mark those fixed points on the scale and on the temperature scale. And the last step is that you need to divide the distance between 2 fixed points into equal number of divisions, and each division should be equal to 1 degree centigrade. So beta, the 3 steps while calibrating or constructing a thermometer is that the first is choose a suitable thermometric substance with a suitable thermometric property, because a thermometric property is a property which changes continuously or vary continuously or linearly with change in temperature. The second step is select 2 fixed points. Fixed points are the standard temperature points. And in the case of defining a thermometer or temperature scale, we consider 2 fixed points. One is the ice point and second is the steam point. Ice point is 0 degree centigrade and the steam point is 100 degree centigrade. So the second step is select 2 fixed point and mark those 2 fixed points on the temperature scale. Then the third step is divide the distance between the 2 fixed point into equal number of divisions. Now we talk about fixed points. So beta, fixed points are useful in calibrating thermometers. And when you are supposed to calibrate a thermometer, then you need to mark the fixed points accurately on the temperature scale, because fixed points is a standard degree of hotness or coldness of a matter or of a substance. So the 2 fixed points which we are considering while calibrating a thermometer is steam point or ice point. So steam point is also known as upper fixed point, which is of 100 degrees Celsius. And steam point is defined as the temperature at which pure water boils at 1 atmospheric pressure. The temperature of a boiling water is known as steam point or upper fixed point. And the value assigned to the steam point is 100 degrees centigrade. So when we are defining ice point, so ice point is the temperature at which pure ice melts at 1 atmospheric pressure. And the value assigned to the ice point is 0 degree centigrade. And ice point is also known as lower fixed point. So beta, there are 2 fixed points in centigrade scale or in thermometer scale, or you are considering while calibrating a thermometer. The 2 fixed points are steam point and ice point. Steam point is known as upper fixed point. Value assigned to steam point is 100 degrees centigrade, and the lower fixed point is ice point, and the value assigned to the ice point is 0 degrees centigrade. And steam point is defined as the temperature at which pure water boils at 1 atmospheric pressure, and ice point is defined as the temperature at which pure ice melts at 1 atmospheric pressure. Now, the main thing which we need to consider is about determination of ice point and steam point. So beta, when you are working on finding an ice point, you need to use an apparatus showing on the screen. Beta, you just take a funnel and place the funnel on a beaker, and the top of the funnel is filled with crushed ice, and you just placed or immersed a bulb of thermometer in the crushed ice in such a way that the bulb of the thermometer is in complete contact with the crushed ice. And you just need to wait for a certain period of time. Then after the certain period of time, you see that there is no change in the mercury level present in the thermometer. Or in other words, we can say that the mercury level remains steady at 0 degree centigrade. So this steady mercury level at 0 degree centigrade is considered as ice point, or also known as lower fixed point. But when we talk about the determination of steam point, so beta, when you are determining the steam point, you just take a you just pick a container, and the container is sealed from all direction, and there is some water at the bottom of the container, and you just provide thermal energy to the boiling water, and at the top of the container a thermometer is protrude in such a way that the bulb of thermometer is in the air, not dipping in the water. Because if you dip the bulb of the thermometer inside the water, then the thermometer is supposed to tell you the temperature of the boiling water, not the temperature of the steam. So beta, you just need to protrude the thermometer in air, and you just wait for a certain period of time. When the water starts to boil, the physical state of a water changes from liquid to steam, and the steam is less denser, so the steam rises up and comes in contact with the bulb of the thermometer, and you just wait for a certain time, and it is clearly visible to you that the mercury level inside the thermometer starts to rise up, and after a certain period of time the mercury level becomes steady at 100 degrees centigrade. So this steady mercury level at 100 degrees centigrade shows that there is no further change in temperature. So you just consider that 100 degrees centigrade as a steam point, or also known as upper fixed point. So बेटा ये तरीका होता है ice point और steam point को determine करने का. Ice point के लिए आप क्या करते हैं? You just use crushed ice and immerse the bulb of thermometer inside the crushed ice and wait for a certain time. And after a certain time, it is clearly visible to you that the mercury level remains steady at 0 degree centigrade, and this 0 degree centigrade is considered as ice point or lower fixed point. But अगर हम बात करें steam point की, so for steam point you need to protrude the thermometer in in a container, and the water is boiling in a container, and the boiling water changes its physical state from liquid to steam, and steam is less denser, so the steam rises up and comes in contact with the bulb of the thermometer, and after a certain time the mercury level again remains steady at 100 degrees centigrade. So this 100 degrees centigrade is considered as a steam point or upper fixed point. So this is how we can determine ice point and steam point. So ice point and steam point, these are the two fixed points. So when we are calibrating a thermometer, the first step is we just select or choose a thermometric substance with a suitable thermometric property. And the second step is we need to determine or select two fixed points. And after determining or selecting two fixed points, we just need to mark those two fixed points on the thermometer scale. The lower fixed point is marked at the bottom, or ice point is marked at the bottom, while the steam point or upper fixed point is marked at the top of the scale. Now, after marking the two fixed point on the thermometer scale, the last step is you need to divide the distance between these two fixed points into equal number of parts. Better the ice point is 0 and the steam point is 100. So there is a difference of 100 between these two fixed points. So you need to divide the distance between ice point and steam point into 100 equal parts. And each part represents 1 degree centigrade. Now we discuss about temperatures of unknown substances. So better there is a scale clearly visible to all of you on the right hand side of the screen. On the scale, the ice point is marked at the bottom and the steam point is marked at the top. So the mercury level at 0 degree centigrade or at ice point is known as L0, and the mercury level at steam point or 100 degree centigrade is L100. So when you are measuring an unknown temperature, or when you have an unknown substance and I ask you to measure the temperature of that unknown substance, then the mercury level at the unknown temperature, the unknown temperature is represented by theta, and the mercury level at the unknown temperature is represented by L theta. So beta, the formula which we use for the calculation is theta is equal to, theta in this case represents the unknown temperature or the temperature which we are supposed to calculate. Theta is equal to L theta. L theta is the length of mercury level at unknown temperature, minus L0. L0 is the length of mercury at ice point, divided by L100. L100 is the length of mercury at steam point, minus L0. L0 is the length of mercury at ice point, and multiply it by 100. Now, note this, the equation can also be used with any other thermometric property also. So when you are using any other thermometric property, so the general equation will be theta is equal to x theta minus x0 divided by x100 minus x0 multiplied by 100. So when you are considering any other thermometric property, suppose you are considering an EMF or electromotive force. So at the place of x, you just put E, because EMF is represented by E. So the formula will be theta is equal to E theta minus E0 divided by E100 minus E0 multiply by 100. So beta, this is how we can use this formula and calculate the unknown temperature when the length of mercury level at unknown temperature is given to all of you. Now remember this thing that there are two types of thermometers. First is the laboratory thermometer and second is the clinical thermometer. So beta, first we talk about laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer is shown on your screens. In laboratory thermometer, there are three main parts. First is the glass tube. First is the glass cover. Second is the capillary tube, which is connected with the bulb of the thermometer. And in the bulb, mercury is present, and the bulb is made up of aluminum, because aluminum is a good conductor of heat. That's why we are making the cover of the bulb with aluminum, and inside the bulb mercury is present. A specific volume of the mercury is present, and above the bulb a capillary tube is present, and the capillary tube is very narrower. And when the bulb of the thermometer comes in contact with any hot body, then the aluminum conducts the heat, and this heat is transferred to the mercury present inside the bulb. And after getting the thermal energy, mercury level rises up inside the capillary tube. And this is how we can measure the unknown temperature. So beta, there are three main parts inside the laboratory thermometer. First is the bulb made of aluminum, and inside the bulb a constant volume of mercury is present. And when the temperature changes, so there is a change in the volume of the mercury present inside the bulb. When the temperature is increasing, the mercury present inside the bulb starts to rises up, and when the temperature is decreasing, the mercury level in the capillary tube starts to fall down. And beta, remember this thing that the glass cover of the bulb is manufactured in such a way that it also act as a magnifying glass, so that the scale so the values on the scale are clearly visible to all of us. So when we talk about the structure of the laboratory thermometer, so you need to remember 3 points. The first is the thermometer is made relatively small so that it is portable and cheap. The second is the thermometer is always contained, the liquid inside the thermometer is present in a thin walled glass bulb, and the material which we use for manufacturing the bulb is aluminum, and the bulb is made relatively larger than its bore to contain more of the liquid so as to improve the sensitivity. The third thing is that we need to make the capillary tube, the bore of the capillary tube or the diameter of the capillary tube narrower and uniform, and the round glass around the capillary tube is made thick, and this round glass also acts as a magnifying glass. Now we talk about some important terminologies related to the laboratory thermometer. First we discuss sensitivity. Beta, sensitivity is the small expansion of the liquid in the liquid bulb will cause a big change in the length of the liquid thread in the capillary tube. As it is made narrow, the narrower the bore, the higher the sensitivity. So beta, sensitivity is what? When there is a small temperature change, then the thermometer is responsible for showing you that small temperature change by changing the mercury level. So बेटा सेंसिटिविटी क्या होती है कि थर्मोमीटर जो है वो स्मॉल चेंज इन टेम्परेचर को भी डिटेक्ट कर ले और आपको उस स्मॉल चेंज इन टेम्परेचर को भी शो करे by changing the mercury level in the capillary tube, and the capillary tube is made narrower in order to increase the sensitivity. So the way to increase the sensitivity is to make the bore of the capillary tube narrower. Range, the range is defined as the distance between maximum and minimum values. So in the case of thermometer, the maximum value is steam point, which is of 100, And in the case of thermometer, the minimum point is of 0 degree centigrade, which is ice point. So when we talk about mercury thermometer, the range is minus 39 to 357 degree centigrade. And when we talk about alcohol in glass thermometer, the range is about minus 115 degree centigrade to 78 degree centigrade. So range is the reciprocal of sensitivity. So remember the point that the longer the range, the lower the sensitivity. And the factors that increase the range would be the same time reduces its sensitivity. So when you are increasing the sensitivity, then you are reducing the range of the thermometer. And when you are decreasing the sensitivity, then you need to increase the range of the thermometer. Linear Linearity. So beta, mercury present inside the bulb of the thermometer changes with temperature change uniformly or linearly over a wide range of temperatures. And and if we are using alcohol instead of mercury, then the expansion shown by the mercury is non-linear over different range of temperatures. Now the last property is responsiveness. As the liquid is contained in a thin wall or thin walled bulb, small glass bulb, so it will be more responsive or faster response to heat. The bulb is more responsive to the heat. That's why we are making the bulb with aluminum, because aluminum is a good conductor of heat. So mercury reacts quickly to the temperature change, whereas alcohol reacts slowly. So when we are using the mercury in the bulb, the thermometer becomes faster or responsive. While when we are using alcohol, then the thermometer becomes less responsive, because the alcohol present inside the bulb reacts slowly or expands slowly, while the mercury present inside the bulb reacts or move faster to the temperature change. So class, thank you. This is all for today. And the remaining topics, inshallah, we will discuss in tomorrow's class. So thank you once again.